I feel really offended that instead of asking me to be your podcast partner, you are some random guy.
It's not what it looks like. I'm not cheating on you, Laura. We just have a lot in common. It just worked out that way. I don't love you anymore. I just read the inscription behind me that says, nothing worth having comes easy. Hashtag grindset, hashtag sigma, hashtag alpha male. Oh, and that's a whole subculture that I've been laughing so hard at. Like, all this alpha, beta, sigma shit.
Oh my God. I used to date guys who would be into that. And like my ex-boyfriend, he was like so into Andrew Tate until I told him like, oh yeah, did you know that Andrew Tate was a sex trafficker?
I'm gonna say allegedly on that one because they haven't like he's been hasn't been convicted yet. But I'm
allegedly a sex trafficker.
Yeah, but it's like
definitely a hashtag hustle, bro.
Hashtag hustle, bro, and a weirdo. Like, so I had this chat with Claude on the previous episode that's gonna come out at some point, and basically, yeah, like the content that he's put out is very much adjacent. Like he was always dancing on the line of the content, you know. So he was lying to someone. Whether he was lying about being a G and doing all these G stuff, or yeah, just being a good old fashioned pimp.
Ugh.
Yeah. Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Hashtag hustle.
It's like, why is it like hashtag hustle? It's always like that kind of stuff. It's never like hashtag hustle, so you can like put food on the table and be a builder. You know, it's like hashtag hustle to get cocaine and bitches.
Oh yeah. I'm not really into the hashtag hustle life because I feel like, you know, I don't want to subscribe to the capitalist grind. Mm.
Oh, no. Oh, interesting. Communism. Tell us more.
That's why we're the Far East Ender.
Yes, that makes sense. We are survivors of communism. Well, I am anyway.
Yeah.
You're just a fan. You're just a general fan of it.
I'm just a fan.
He's like, what happened in your country was actually, if you think about it, not a bad idea.
Yeah, no. I'm just not a fan of like just this idea that we have to hustle and like have multiple jobs and all that in order to just, well, survive.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe that I should hustle. I should like grind until the day I die just to stay alive. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's merits to that argument. On the other hand, such is life also. So there's like a, if you get into it, there should be a boundary of how much hustle you should be doing in life, but at the same time, life does not care. So anything you do.
I think it's fair to like work hard if you're into your job. You like your job, you work hard for it. You want more money, you can work hard for it. But like the way that things are, where I'm from, let's see, we don't really have free healthcare.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, to me, like, I think it's pretty bad to be like, oh, if you're poor and you can't afford, you know, medical care, you should just die.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
That's not the vibe that I want. Yeah?
It's not your vibe. No, that's
not
fucked up.
the vibe I want in a country.
No, like at a society level, we should have free healthcare.
Yeah, I know. I believe in that too. I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, there should be some sort of system. Because, you know, shit happens. It's not always your fault.
Yeah, exactly. In Singapore, they encourage you to be healthy. I'm like, I mean, like, cancer doesn't really care how many, you know, apples you eat a day. So
I mean, being healthy, you know, I'm still pro-healthy, but, like, it's like once you get into the details, it's like, what do you mean specifically? Like, yeah, be healthy, but some shit just is genetic. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't eat a fruit and hope a car won't hit you.
Yeah, you can pay attention. The cars might still hit you. Such is life. Such an optimistic note on this podcast. We always like to keep it real.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, hello, Laura. I feel like I haven't even said hello, Laura.
Hi, Sylas.
What's happening? We've just been arguing. Like, we didn't even sit down. We were already, like, bickering about who's got a bigger microphone.
I've just been feeling kind of angsty and cranky today. Yeah. Because it's a work day, and also I cycled here like a poor person.
What's wrong with cycling, Laura? It's hashtag health, hashtag grindset, hashtag...
Because everybody knows that poor people cycle to places. Rich people cycle to nowhere on their Pelotons at home. I aspire to be Peloton rich.
So you want to cycle nowhere at home. I feel like I'm getting more done. I feel like cycling to places, it's like more effective. It's a more effective use of my time.
Is it?
Yeah. It's a workout as well as grinding at the same time.
because you don't ride a bike for 12-year-olds.
Yeah, okay, that might be that. Yeah, I've invested in
My wheels are just like...
I invested in a noble steed.
No idea what that means. I invested in... It's called Aurora, I think my bike is.
You've named your bike?
I don't know.
This is Eleanor. Gone in 60 seconds. Sorry, that was a Nick Cage movie reference. But yeah, I mean, we've gathered here today for a reason. One, to catch up.
We're here to catch up and also talk about our upcoming show, Far East Enders, which we are bringing to Edinburgh Fringe on the 5th and 6th of August, 1 p.m. at Boteco do Brasil.
Yes. Can you tell who's the marketing specialist in this room?
It's me. Yet nobody will hire me in the UK because I'm foreign. But that's a different story.
Well, you got hired now.
Okay.
You hired.
Hi, bosses.
You've been hired now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be like, well, what are you complaining about? What are you crying about?
You have a job.
But yeah, at least you got a job. And we are super excited because we've done some of this show in March at the Glasgow Comedy Festival. So we'll be updating that and bringing that back. And we've been polishing that material for the past 5 months.
Polishing that material.
Yeah, I've been writing new jokes. I have, I've been working hard. #grind. Man, I don't know. It's just like fucking this alpha, beta, sigma grind shit. It just feels like someone said it already. It feels like horoscope for men. It's just.
I feel like I was the one who said that. I said that I felt like this hustle grind shit felt like, the live, laugh, love, but for men.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like live, laugh, love, but like.
Yeah, exactly.
But with testosterone.
I know, it's like, oh, you want to be successful? You got to focus, concentrate. I'm like, yeah, that's how people do things.
Yeah, they haven't invented anything new.
Yeah, they're just like, focus, use your mind. Oh my God, it's so dumb. It's so stupid. And then I swear, sometimes one of my ex who liked that kind of stuff, I swear you could make any quote and then put it against like the background of a man who is working out or just in a suit, and then he'll think it's really profound and deep and meaningful, and it's a very important quote to find success.
Are you telling me that if you throw me to the wolves, I would come back leading the pack is not motivating you on a daily basis? Like, yeah. This shit, man, like, I get it that people need to pick themselves up. We all do. Fair folks. But, bruh, like I've got this sneaking suspicion that the only reason these buff men are not blowing other buff men in the gym is because Andrew Tate hasn't come out with a video talking about how, if you want to increase your testosterone, you got to blow your bro in the changing room. Like, that's going to happen. Someone's going to come out with this, like, testosterone retention. Yeah. Blow a guy.
Yeah, you gotta be brave enough to blow a man, okay? The real test of masculinity is to eat someone else's masculinity. I have no idea.
It's coming. Like, I'm sorry, it's dumb. It's fucking dumb.
No homo.
Yeah, he says, like, it's not homo if you're doing it for the gains. If it's part of your grind set, then Yeah, man, bless him. I mean, on the other hand, it speaks to the fact that men are really fucking lost at the moment, or they're just really struggling. And like, not all men. Again, let me take this back. It's part of the male culture is definitely like trying to figure out how to go forward.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why representatives, people, men like Andrew Tate or other kind of men who promote toxic masculinity, the reason why they're so popular is because there aren't that many male role models that really emphasize on how to be a man. Because like your typical decent men who are also just good people, good men and all-rounders.
Just decent people trying to, make shit happen.
They don't really promote themselves as male role models telling you how to be masculine, modern masculinity. But then you see men like Andrew Tate promoting themselves as such.
Yeah, they have enough ego. I mean, it takes a bit of ego as well, to just stand up and be like, listen, I'm willing to be your fucking role model. This is who I am. This is how I do things, and you should follow me. Like, it does take a bit of, not necessarily bravery, but a bit of that, and just a bit of don't give a fuck. Here I am. And I feel like, those kind of people have taken the lead on this, and now a lot of people are reacting to it. And I feel like they've pissed off enough people. Like, I consider myself annoyed by Andrew Tate. Like, I don't hate the guy, but...
Aren't you Romanian?
I'm from Romania. He's British, but lives in Romania.
Yeah, I know. Why do people keep calling him, like, British Romanian? That's so strange.
Motherfucker moved there, like, what was it, 5 years ago? 7 years ago?
Yeah,
I've been here longer. I'm not British, so fuck you. He's an expat.
Yeah, even if I've lived in Scotland for like 2 years, even if I've lived here for 5 years, I wouldn't really call myself Scottish Singaporean. That would just be strange.
Yeah, no, like
do you call yourself Scottish Romanian? You can at this point, can't you?
No, I mean, I've got the papers, but yeah, I'm British on paper. But no, like, I'm always going to be Transylvanian. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm representing, and, I'm not that keen on fitting in. I don't need to fit in that bad.
Imagine calling yourself trans Glaswegian.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
Yeah, I'm,
Not wrong in more ways than one, I suppose.
I'm technically correct. Which is, I feel like this should be a whole new podcast. So like, technically correct. But yeah, what we're going to talk about, the Andrew Tate stuff is, to me, it's hilarious because, again, as you said, there's not a lot of male role models for the youth at the moment. So the people that are most willing to take on that mantra are going to get the most attention. And also, he's a person who's like, he doesn't start with, you're shit because you're a man and this is what you need to do. It's more like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Like he's very much love bombing his audience of like, there's nothing wrong with being a man. And no, but not everything that you've been taught as part of masculinity is healthy. So there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, you're not the finished product. You gotta work on yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of like men and boys, they don't really like to see themselves as flawed individuals. When actually, like, some of the things that you learn, some things that you do when you're young, it's a bit toxic and you don't realize it. And, what Andrew Tate doesn't do is highlight, that you might have some problems.
No, he does highlight that, but his answer to it is kind of... Well, his answer to it is, be a man, go to the gym, work hard, get some bitches, let's go. Like, that's his answer. It's like, hey, you're not depressed, your problem is you're too much of a pussy. Hashtag grind. No, like, we talked about this with Claude a little bit, but the one thing that really pissed me off when he gave this advice of like, he's got some trauma from, being thrown in jail and he can't sleep. But he's like, if a psychologist came to me and said I can take away your pain, I would be outraged. Those are my demons. I got to deal with them. They've been given to me by God. And I'm like, motherfucker. Tell that to a single dad, who's trying to get through shit. And it's like, these are your demons, shut the fuck up and just carry on. And wonder why the male suicide is high. Like, bruh, people have problems. Let them deal with it in a healthy way. Let them talk about it. If they need a therapist, go to a fucking therapist. Stop being a pussy. Talk to someone.
I don't think that, pain and trauma should be, like, celebrated.
Yeah, it's fetishized a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like, not everybody wants to have something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really want to like wake up from nightmares that regularly, but I do. Do I wear it as a badge of pride? No, I just tweet about it on my secret account.
Yeah, it just gets in the way. Like, most of the lessons you learn from pain, you could learn in
a book. No, I'm joking.
No, not a book, but you could learn them in a slightly more positive way. But life is life. You take the good with the bad. But yeah, like, don't fucking fetishize it. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's my little rant. This podcast has already gone off the rails because we started with a random topic. But let's get back to Far East Enders because we have promised people that we would answer their questions.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to this Q&A for Far East Enders. I know that you wanted to, hear more about us and learn more about Sylas and I. The first thing about us is that Sylas's name is not Sylas Sabowicz. It is
or sizzle sandwich.
Or sizzle sandwich or Caesar salad. It is Sylas Sabowicz.
Close enough.
Subowicz.
I feel like just go on. Try it a couple of times. Let me see what.
Subowicz. 5 hours later.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having a Hungarian name, and being part of a language that's not related to just about any other language in Europe.
Foreigners.
Yeah, we're the best. We're the best. So which one of these questions are actually legit? So for the record, some of these questions might have been made up by us, but most of them are real. We're going to find out which ones are real.
Most of them are real. Most of them are real.
Right, okay. Which one did you write? I haven't written a single question.
Two.
Why is it called Far EastEnders? What is Far EastEnders about? I mean, that's just legit what we want to talk about regarding our show. Right, okay, so why is it called Far EastEnders, Laura?
Well, we tried to brainstorm a couple of names because it just so happens that Sylas is from Eastern Europe.
Yep.
And I am from the Far East. Well, more like I'm from Southeast Asia, but I think that my part of Asia is also considered the Far East. And also majority of my country is Chinese, and I'm Chinese descent also. So we were like, oh yeah, so we're both kind of from the East. Let's make some wordplay about it.
I mean, yeah, but if you consider historical context of this, so I come from the region that's first, like if you look on the map, we're the first region that's called East because of the communist bloc, right? So like you go to all the way to Germany, you had West Germany, and then they split up and became East Germany. And from then on, you started having East. And you got the Middle East, and then you got the Far East. But then obviously, if you go far enough east, you end up in the West. So it's like
that's how the world works.
Yeah, geographically does not make sense at all. Politically, you start getting it. Do you know what I mean? But it's very much a British. Well, not even British, because the West is not America more than Britain, but Britain's still in it. You know, so it's like that bit of the world, obviously has, because of power and history, because that's how that works, has kind of defined the rest of it. And doesn't make fucking sense, but yes, I'm from Eastern Europe. She's from
the
Far East.
So
and EastEnders is a program on the telly in the UK. And here's a pun.
Did you like our poster, our new Edinburgh Fringe poster? I feel like in the picture where Sylas is carrying me, I feel like I look
with disgust.
And then that little quote from the UK Home Office. I feel like it looks like I married Sylas for the visa.
Yeah.
Which is not going to happen. Maybe 2 years' time. Not yet.
Not yet. But the options are open. What we're trying to say is we're in a loving relationship for any authorities watching. No, we're comedy husband and wife, and that's it. That means we argue, but we're hilarious while we do it. So.
Yeah, and I usually win. Next question.
Of course you do, darling. Of course you do.
Next question.
And I just go and start a podcast on my own. Simple. Fuck the man cave. Start a pod. Talk about conspiracy theories. Tell the world what you really think about the election.
Next question.
Right, okay, let's go. Okay.
What is Far EastEnders about?
Well, surprisingly, it's about the Far East and the East.
Yeah.
And the ends.
I feel like Far EastEnders, the way that the kind of stories and jokes that we tell, it's basically about our experiences coming to the UK. As well, people who aren't from the UK. I don't like some of the marketing material that we have. I think we say immigrant, but actually, in reality, Sylas is the only immigrant. I don't consider myself an immigrant.
Laura self-identifies as a British citizen.
I don't. No, it's just that, well, firstly, my visa is not really immigrant visa.
Yeah. No, we've had this chat, and I respect your perspective that you're an expat because you're not.
Ugh.
How does it go? So you're an expat because you're not a long-term immigrant, or you're not moving because of the way of life, like just for living.
Well, this is really hard to. Let me think. I just consider myself a foreigner. I don't like the word expat because back in my country, expat is used for usually when you're white and you are a certain income level and you intend to stay there for a long period to work, to live, usually to work, but it doesn't mean that you're going to move there permanently. I wouldn't consider myself an expat.
So you're telling me that there is classism and potentially racism in Singapore? No way!
It's more racism than classism. But, I feel like for British people, they don't realize that they are I just find it so strange. Like, actually, I have this one friend. She is from the U.S. She's Asian American. She came to the U.K. We studied like in the same university. When she got a job here, she immediately changed her Instagram bio to American expat in the U.K. When I graduated, I never thought of myself as an expat in any way. I thought of myself straight up as a foreigner. That's it.
Well, this is where it becomes semantics. For me, immigrant is you move somewhere from a different country and you live in there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's the difference, the permanently or not. I'll allow that definition. But for me, like expat is just someone saying, "Oh, I'm from this place." So I'm a Romanian expat because that used to be my.
I feel like
country.
expat would also imply that you earn a certain income level.
Does it though?
Yeah, back in my
Well, again, it's like
usually
how it's
implies
used.
that.
But does it mean that, or is just people use that term more frequently about those people? Because words have meaning, Laura. Should I mansplain the dictionary right now?
I find it weird when, like, British people, when they retire in Spain, for example, they call themselves expats. And I'm like, wait, I mean, when you retire, I mean, I thought the intention was to, go there and die there, live out the rest of your days there. Then to me, wouldn't it make sense to call yourself an immigrant in Spain?
And never mind the way of life. You move because of the weather, okay? Talk shit about me moving because of my economy. You move because of the weather, because you didn't like the rain.
That's fair, honestly. That's a fair reason to move.
I mean, I respect it, yeah. You know what? I would do the same. But but don't talk shit about, they come in here for a better way of life. That's not respectable. They're not dying. They should only move here if they're really, really struggling. Bruh, open borders. I came here. I'm making my best moves. I'm trying hard. We'll see what happens. But here I am. Deal with it. This is very confrontational today.
So Far East Senders is basically a show about our experiences as immigrants, as foreigners in the UK, and all the funny stories along the way. So I think that for me personally, Far East Senders is like a culmination of the struggles I had coming to the UK. And experiences I had coming to the UK before, because like it wasn't an easy journey for me to get here, because as you know, everybody had, that was the pandemic just before I came here to study. So I had to defer a year. I went to Glasgow University. I had to defer during COVID, and then at that time, my somebody that I loved got arrested and almost sentenced to death. I also had my savings wiped out because I had to have an emergency surgery back home. Then when I got here, I didn't have that much money, and I was really struggling with, the culture shock of being here and having to move around so much and not have a permanent home. And even when I finished my university, it was also a struggle just trying to find a job. At one point, I was removing my Chinese surname from my resumes just to get the job interview. And surprisingly, when I did that, I could get the job. I could get any job interview for very high paying roles when I removed my surname.
That is interesting. Because again, there's a lot of reasons for it. Chances are that they looked at the same and they thought, okay, visa. And that might have been a problem. But it does not look good. Now, if you go into the details of why it happened, again, there's probably like the economic factors to consider, and I don't know what else. But yeah, it's something like as an East European actor, sometimes I'm like, okay, should I change my name so they can't fucking tell I'm from Eastern Europe? But then I'm like, nah, because that's where I'm from. I'm not ashamed of it. Plus, with stand-up, I've been making my way and using my name, so I'm not going to dilute my brand because somebody's like, oh, well, he's got that name, he might not be able to speak the language. Yeah, I've seen casting calls that have said shit like, very rare, to be fair, very rare. But things like, oh, if you're going to apply for Shakespeare, if English isn't your first language, you shouldn't even bother because it's going to be so difficult. And I'm like, bruh, I speak better English than half of you. I'm sorry, I do. I used to translate. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been talking shit in front of a camera for 10 years now, give or take, just doing all kinds of content, writing,
Don't you put
creating.
like the languages that you speak in your acting?
Yeah, I do, yeah. But obviously when what I put there and what somebody else sees is a completely different thing. They might just be like, yeah, of course he's going to put that because you know, you need to, but he might not be that good. So I'm just hoping that motherfuckers look at my CV and actually listen and watch it and not just jump to conclusions based on my surname.
I use my surname in comedy because I'm proud of it. But I just can't use it in like typical work.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, it is a bit annoying. And it's more like, so I'm someone who I do not want to make that an excuse of like, oh, the reason I'm struggling is because this. Because I look around and plenty of other people are struggling. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a streamlined thing. You've got to find your own way into the industry. But it comes up, and sometimes you see some of that behavior, you know, in the industry, and you're like, okay, maybe this might play a part. But I don't like to, you know, use this as a crutch of like, the only reason I'm not there at the top is because my surname.
You also have to consider that my surname is a Chinese one, and his is a European one. Europeans have it a lot easier in the UK.
Depends, like, yeah, depends on the industry.
If somebody wants to sponsor a visa for you, that's easy.
I don't have to get a visa.
You don't even have to get a visa. Firstly, like if I wanted to get sponsored for a visa with Rishi Sunak's new rules, I'm not even sure if that's going to happen in 2 years. That's when I need my visa.
We're getting married in 2 years, yeah?
You're invited.
Hashtag love and relationship. Right. What other question do we have?
Who smells the nicest? Laura or Sylas?
Well, I guess it really depends on your preference.
Yeah, if you like a bad smell.
Wow.
I have smelled Sylas, and like I have held my tongue about it, but like... Anyways, I just want to highlight that a lot of East Asians do not have the gene for body odor, and I am one of them.
I'm sorry, what?
Many East Asians...
Are you just battering with your privilege right now? With your body odor privilege, motherfucker?
I also have dry earwax. Do you want to smell me? Do you?
I'm all right. Anything else you want to reel about me on this pod?
Anyways, I have a list of things I hate about Sylas.
Oh, this is nice. Go on. 10 things you hate about me. Go on.
I'm kidding.
I mean, listen. Depends what kind of smell you like. But if you want that raw East European man smell, then you know where
yeah,
where
if you
to
like the
find
smell of sauerkraut, is that what you eat there? What do they eat in Eastern Europe?
Well,
beets?
Beets?
I have no idea. Potatoes.
We eat some potatoes. We eat some maize. A lot of meat. A lot of smoky meats. Yeah, maize, corn flour. Well, not maize, not corn flour. Sorry, not the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's new to me.
Yeah, well, so depending on where you go in Eastern Europe, because fun fact, we are very different. But yeah, so like Romania is in the ideal spot where Greek, Turkish, Russian, and also like some of the Austrian cuisine merge. Plus, we have our local flora and fauna. So we have a very diverse set of
So
dishes.
you are like, you know, the interstice of olive oil Europe and butter Europe?
Yeah, and vodka Europe.
Oh my God, okay. That's new to me. That's new.
Yeah, so like that part of Europe has seen all kinds of cultures and cuisines come and go.
But the only thing that people remember Transylvania for is Dracula.
Hey, you know what? That's a good step.
Scary Europe.
You know what? That's a good way to start. You got to start somewhere. And the fact that we'll suck your blood is, I feel like, a very strong opener. I used to say that we're not allowed to bite anymore since EU regulation, but... Right, so what's the... Let me see.
Skip this one.
The next question. The one about what do you think dating apps will look like in 10 years' time? I don't fucking know what they will look like. Will they still exist? Probably. It's probably going to be a robot telling you exactly how you're going to look like and what you should be wearing and what you should be doing.
I think that in 10 years' time, you know, with the way that the world is going, I feel like dating apps will be very, very dystopic. And I think we'll see, like, maybe a return to straight-up arranged marriages.
You reckon?
Yeah, I mean... Like, you've seen the world. It's so dystopic.
Fuck, but instead of... I mean, there was an episode about this on Black Mirror. Yeah. But instead of, getting your parents, it's going to be an algorithm being like, you are so compatible. This is what you have in common.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll just be like married at first sight, but with a dating app. And also, I think I'll match you based on, because like with the UK and you know how classism and immigration, it's going bad. They're probably going to match people based on like their ethnic groups, their social class. Yeah, it sounds like it could be like that one day, but in tech. I'm not saying that I support it, but I mean like Black Mirror vibes. This world is going that direction.
It's just gonna be like, by the power invested in me by Mark Zuckerberg, I pronounce you person and person.
I'm kind of.
There's layers to that joke.
Yeah.
You gonna say?
Done.
You don't, that's it. That's all about dating. Although I feel like you have a lot more dating stories to talk about, Laura. I talk about a little bit about dating in my bit.
His dating life is like really boring.
Boring?
You only have like one exciting sex story, and then the rest go downhill. Because how can you beat a Brazilian circus performer?
Well,
it goes downhill from there.
I've taken that out. I've taken the Brazilian circus performer bit out because I feel like it's not the last one anymore.
There's something more exciting. No.
Not more exciting. It's
it.
just I like to keep my comedy fairly honest, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, by the way, last week this happened, and then every time I do that set, it always happened last week, and I don't like that.
Yeah,
personally.
I mean, like how many people will be like, how are you always like fucking a Brazilian circus
it just
performer
doesn't.
last week?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. But shout out to Brazil. God bless. God bless Brazil. But no, like I've taken that bit out. I've worked it around a little bit.
You're just gonna have to watch our show to find out more about Sylas's dating life.
Yeah. I still got the bit about my dream though. No spoilers.
It's riveting.
Fuck you too, Lara. Please evaluate. Oh no, are all East European men funny? No.
No, I haven't found a funny one yet.
Yeah, and don't get me started on Singaporean women. Jesus Christ.
Our next question is...
I mean, people don't... I'm sorry, but I just need to interrupt you there. I apologize. People don't know the content of the messages I get from Laura on a regular basis. I've been a big brother, a therapist, potentially a drunk guide me home service. Like, my favorite voice note I ever received from Laura was, I'm drunk, bitch!
I think that my favorite voice note to Sylas, I found it the next morning. It was just like, Sylas, I think that if you recorded my voice, it would be like the most beautiful voice in the world. That is an actual voice note.
Yeah, so Laura's voice notes tend to like oscillate between... Yeah, they oscillate between... Nothing good is ever going to happen to me. My life sucks. My world sucks. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing, etc., etc. Versus, I'm the best person ever. Oh my God. Jesus. Do you think you're bipolar? As I'm saying this, I'm just like...
Be my friend to subscribe to my drunk voice notes.
Yeah, to be honest, drunk voice notes are hilarious. Like... I come home and I'm like, oh, there's not a new podcast. It's like, there's a new voice note from Laura. Let's go. The
latest voice note has just dropped at 4 a.m. on a Friday night.
And like, it's going to be good depending on how late she drops it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and depending on what she posted on Twitter that day.
Unhinged, baby.
She's like, you get a little teaser in the morning of like, oh, this man did this. And then like 4 a.m. Sylas, this Irish guy ate my toes.
He sucked them. Yeah.
And I'm like, the best part about that one was like, oh, he sucked my toes. I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Like, is this happening right now? Are you texting me in the middle of this passionate lovemaking?
No, it was a voice note during the...
Like, what the fuck?
Silence.
Just like, here's a video. Look at him. And I'm just making eye contact with a random guy. Like, wait, what? Yeah. Laura has no boundaries, and that's why we love her.
Our next question is, evaluate all of Sylas's tattoos.
Well, I'm not going to tell the meaning of all of them, but you can evaluate them.
Yes. Okay, I need to put on my glasses.
Because you're so old.
I'm so blind. Let's see them.
Right, go on.
Sylas has a tulip on his arm.
It's a black tulip I have,
It's not even colored. Like, what? Who don't have a black tulip?
Well, you're not allowed to call it that anymore.
Why? Okay, Sylas has numbers. 1, 4, 3. Yeah, so you can see that later if you. Can I read it out?
You can read them out. I'm not ashamed of them.
So
I'm just not
his
explaining them
numbers
all.
are 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 7, 9, which I am assuming is his inmate number, given that he's from Romania, some Eastern European country, one of those communist. I don't know. I don't care.
Just speaking to the mic.
He has unintelligible letters there. I'm assuming it is Romanian letters.
No, these are old Hungarian runes. I'm Hungarian from Romania.
Okay.
And this is the writing of my people before the Latin alphabet.
Oh, wow. That is interesting.
Yes.
Well, I don't really have any Chinese tattoos. Maybe I should get them.
Yeah, I was, respectful enough to get unlegible writing in my own language, not someone else's. Just, the Chinese tattoos saying, I don't know, chicken soup.
I see that Sylas also has a circle with what looks like a K and birds
For the record,
underneath.
yeah, that is not about the KKK, because I've had that asked, because it's just KA. That's from Stephen King's The Dark Tower series, and is the symbol of fate.
Oh, I was thinking more. I thought it was like a tree of life kind of vibe. It's okay. I would evaluate his tattoos. Probably, I'll give him like 7 out of 10. Great meaning. Execution, bit boring, honestly.
So see, 7 out of 10 is that's how I rate myself. That's not like I'm on a good
5
day.
out of 10 for like execution. Because I mean, come on, it's all black and kind of boring.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I like
I'm a big fan of
simplistic.
colors.
Fair enough.
I mean, your skin is so pale. You could do a lot of like, ooh, pretty colors, like a watercolor.
Yeah, I could. It's just that would be too much for an actor to have, in my humble opinion, or at least for me, because many people have pulled it off. But for now, I'm sticking to stuff that I can cover up, and it's nice and easy, and it's simple. And I do like little gothic, sort of pagan-looking, simplistic tattoos.
Yeah, druid vibe or whatever Eastern
Yeah.
European witchy thing.
Oh, we had we had something similar to Druids, but our own version of it. Yeah, Hungarian culture is very it's just very little spoken about, because a lot of it was lost when all of my people, most of my people, converted to Christianity to survive. So we had our own pagan culture and our own shaman and things like that.
I think it would be really cool if that was like, how some people usually like POCs, they try to like reconnect with their cultures and like reclaim. Yeah, that whatever. It'd be really fun to watch you reclaim your paganism and whatever that.
Some people have. Some people are like going into yurtas, which is like the big tents and things like that. So there's like old school Hungarian camps, like summer camp, but for like old school Hungarian
I
stuff.
think that'd be really fun. You should try it just for
Yeah,
a
probably.
documentary. That'd be really cool as a
probably.
documentary, wasn't it?
It'd be interesting.
Finding my roots, like a bit hungry for hungry. Okay, I don't know. That was a
Out.
shit pun. That was a shit
Fucking
pun.
out. Out. This podcast ends now. I'm walking away right now.
I don't know.
But that's not the kind of content you'll be getting at The Fringe. You'll be getting better jokes, Laura. Yes. Yes.
I endeavor to do my best.
Oh, you said that so. I respect that. That's adorable. Why is pineapple good for men? Oh, I know why that is. Hello, it's your boy Sylas flying solo because my brother in crime is on the run as we speak. I just want to take this time to give a quick shout out to BTM Studios, that is Bliss Tribe Movement Studios, for sponsoring us with the venue and sexy microphones and pretty much everything, really. The quality of the content is all due to their hard work. So I just want to give that a little shout out. Follow them on Instagram, all the good stuff. Yeah, love you. Bye. Stay sexy.
Why, Sylas?
From what I know is when you eat fruit, your cum tastes better.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. One of my friends, she likes to suck dick a lot. This is not about me. This is not about me. Genuinely, it's about one of my friends.
No, Laura does not like to satisfy her man. Laura,
I do not. I like to leave them unsatisfactory and slightly angry. Anyways, so I have one friend, she likes to suck and swallow. Anyways, she said that she can tell what a guy's diet is based on his cum. And then she said that if he eats more fruits, it tastes better.
There's a lot you can tell about a person by the way they... Man, the shit we talk about, but I don't care anymore.
She also said that if you smoke, she can tell.
From?
The cum, yeah.
From the taste. Interesting. Fascinating.
Again, not about me, my friend.
I mean, I haven't tried it yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell. I don't have a lot of flavors. I don't have a palate to compare it to. Right, you want me to read the next one?
The next question.
Well, you should probably read a few as well.
What other career would you have taken up?
I would have been a great teacher.
Yeah, I can see how nurturing and supportive you
Oh,
are.
I feel like, can you imagine this vibe around your children?
No, I think you'd be like that fun, cool drama teacher, that fun, cool English teacher that, yeah.
I mean, I would turn it into performance probably, yeah.
Can you imagine me as a teacher?
Oh, God. I feel like
She's psycho.
I feel like low-key, this is some sort of OnlyFans content you've already created.
No, not yet. Anyways.
Why aren't you on OnlyFans, Lara?
I'm not on OnlyFans. I really should get, for the money. Well, I guess if I had any other career, well, honestly, I just want a career. Like right now, I am a communications professional. If I could choose any other career, I would love to work in consulting and finance because it seems really cool, consulting, to do very little things but make a lot of money.
So consulting, OnlyFans, artists.
I don't want to be an artist. Artists, no.
No. You like the money.
I like the money. I would definitely like to be a very, very successful comedian and not have to work again. For me, any career in which I don't have to do much, but I make a lot of money, that is the career that I want. Yes.
Interesting. Hashtag.
There is nothing wrong with that.
Hashtag. Why do you have to grind so hard? You know, like you're the exact opposite of like. Well, there should be a hashtag for instead of grind. I was like, just chill. Hashtag chillcore.
Yeah. I do not dream of labor.
Hashtag. You wake up in the morning and you go right back to bed. Because that's what you're about.
Yeah.
Hashtag chill.
I just want to, be like really rich and then pursue my hobbies. One of my friends, he's actually I think he works on oil rigs or something. He does not like his job because, who really adores working on oil rigs? But he makes a lot of money. And in his spare time, he wrestles and writes poetry.
He wrestles?
Yeah, and does poetry. What a
like, when you say wrestles, like WWE or just...
Yeah. He's not a WWE fighter, but yes, it's wrestling.
That kind of wrestling.
Yeah. So he does that, or boxing, I can't remember, but one of those.
Well, but completely different.
Well, basically he does that kind of sport, and then he also writes poetry. Those are two of his hobbies. And to him, like, his job is just there to support him doing his hobbies. That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want, to make a lot of money so that I can pursue my other things. I think that's a fair thing.
Well, good luck to you.
I'm trying.
She's trying so hard. You should probably, I've read a couple, so it's up to you there. Oh.
If a tree falls in the forest, but there's no one to hear it, does it make a sound? Alternatively, if Spider-Man rests his balls on a child's head and there is no one to report it, has he committed a crime?
Yes.
Yes. For obvious reasons. Anyways, next question.
Don't leave the kids alone.
Next question.
It's not even funny. I'm just like, no, we are very gently like, no nuts on this chin.
How did you and Sylas meet? This is a funny story. So I was performing at a comedy club, and then this random guy came up to me, Eastern European dude or something. He was like, hey, I thought your set was like really fantastic and amazing, and I think I'm in love with you. And then afterwards, this guy followed me on Instagram and befriended me on Facebook, and then he kept following me around. So anyways, that man was Sylas, one of my biggest fans that became my friends. I became his friend kind of reluctantly. Here we are.
So this is how I recall it. We're at the club. We're performing. She goes up. The night's over. People are hanging out, chatting to each other. And she's in the corner by herself. And I was like, oh, she was also on the lineup. I was like, oh, bless her. She's got no friends. Let me go say hello and just like not leave her be lonely in a group of comedians in the green room. So I'm like, hey, good set. You'll say anything. When someone's feeling down and by themselves, you'll say whatever bullshit that you think will make them feel good about themselves. So you'll be like, yeah, you were very funny. Sure. And then, later I was like, I should probably follow them because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's networking. So I did.
Yeah. Then I became more famous than Sylas.
Did you?
Hey, in 2 short years.
Did you?
Anyways, I am not a very friendly person. That's one of my biggest problems. I am genuinely very unfriendly. Whenever I'm in green rooms, people will be like, hi, my name is so-and-so. What's yours? And then, oh wait, no. Usually when I'm in green rooms, and then sometimes some comedians will be like, hi, what's your name? I'll be like, I'm Laura. And they'll be like, how are you? I'm like, I'm great. And then, I just completely forget to ask them about their name and also ask them, how are you? It's not because I'm trying to be unfriendly. I'm just not used to being friendly. And
what happened, Laura? What happened?
Yeah, when I worked in hospitality, I had to have like a post-it note, that just said, how are you? So that I would remember to ask how people are.
Oh. You might be autistic. I'm only saying that so casually because we've already had this conversation. But the fact that you had to remind yourself to ask that question, I feel like that.
I do that a lot. Yeah. At one point in time, I had like an entire notepad of like the appropriate reactions for things. Like, I had like little notepad in my phone. It said like, if somebody hugs you, hug them back. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I want to see this notepad. How long do you hug people back? What is the Laura's? You did scientific research on this. What is the acceptable amount to hug people back for?
I think about 3 seconds. I remember before I wrote that, then whenever people came out to hug me, I'll just be there. They'll hug me like, and I'll be like,
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's it. That's help.
Just awkwardly like tap their waist. Like, yeah. I'm not autistic.
The fact that she's so tiny makes it even more hilarious. Just like a little penguin, like, let me go.
I'm not autistic. I'm very normal. I'm just quirky. Next question. If you had to move from Glasgow, where would you move next? Well, Sylas and I have an announcement to make. We are moving to London.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell them about the baby. If I had to move, if I had to leave Glasgow, then I'd probably go somewhere down south. I mean, Edinburgh's always over there. And I feel like Edinburgh would be good fun to live in when you're doing the Fringe and you're just paying your regular rent and not having to fucking pay the extortion amount.
Yeah, but I mean, what about, your work? I don't think that there's much opportunities in Edinburgh.
I mean, yeah. There's stuff happening, actually. Obviously, London's always the go-to because it's the capital. There's the most people, the most,
Yeah,
the most opportunities.
Yeah, I'm moving to London next month, and it is actually quite shocking how large London is compared to Glasgow, because Glasgow is actually the 3rd largest city in the UK. And Glasgow's really tiny. Still, it's just shocking, and that means that every other city in the UK is smaller than Glasgow, and that's really quite small. That means that everything that means that London's just the biggest and everything gets sucked into London.
I mean, yeah, you're obviously coming from Singapore, which has got the population of how many people?
Of Scotland itself.
Yeah, in one city. So obviously, any city for you would be like, kind of, most European cities for you would be like kind of tiny.
I know. I thought that Glasgow was a town when I first came here. Genuinely.
That must be wild. I would love to visit Singapore once.
Yeah, come with me, honey. Wait.
Well, I just need to get myself cancelled and be like, fuck the European market. I'm going to Asia.
Actually, Sylas, you could do very well in Asia, honestly, because like they really like having random white people just around, decorative white people. Like in China, sometimes they'll hire white actors just to stand at conferences and talks. I think in Japan they do that too. And also in Hong Kong movies where you can play the evil American or something.
Yeah. I love. This is like the second-hand white privilege we get in Romania, you know, because once they hear you speak or they see your passport, you're like, where are you from? But until then, I can just be like, I can pass. I'm white, but like sort of, you know what I mean, guys?
Oh, also in Singapore, like radio hosts and TV hosts or whatever, like they're usually like half white, half Asian, or white. So actually, Sylas, you could do very well.
So yeah, maybe I am in the wrong country.
Yeah, exactly.
There's this American guy, this American actor. Fuck, I forgot his name, but he played Crossbones in the MCU. Frank Grillo, there he is. And he just made his living playing bad guys in Chinese movies.
Yeah, see? Now you can take his job.
Imagine, Romanian guy goes all the way to China to take an American guy's job. Typical. God damn it.
I think that if I had to move anywhere out of Glasgow, yes, I would like to move away from Glasgow. I'm moving to London next month. It's not because I don't like Glasgow, but it's just that Glasgow doesn't like me. And I could not find a job in this city. I have applied everywhere, and I got rejected because foreign.
But you wanted to go to London as well anyway.
Not really. I wanted to stay here. It's just that there are more opportunities in London than in Glasgow. I mean, like when I applied for jobs in Glasgow, the crazy thing was that I applied to my old company, which had an office here. And I came with a glowing recommendation from my office in Singapore. I was perfectly qualified, had amazing experience. I was rejected without an interview. They actually wanted to interview me at first, and then they realized that I need a visa in 2 years' time. That's why they rejected me before they even interviewed me.
So that's an economic consideration.
Is it though? Because I know very well that company can sponsor visas.
I guess that is just you. They just don't like you.
Next question.
But yeah, if I had to move anywhere, maybe London when I'm ready. London's the kind of town you need a plan to move to, I believe.
Any town, you need to plan anywhere. I mean,
yeah,
UK.
but when the price is like, there's a higher price for fucking it up in London, I feel like, than it is in Glasgow. Just because the rent is higher.
I don't know why you're scaring me like a month before I go.
What I'm trying to say is, Laura, is you stand no chance now. You'll be amazing, man. Come on. You've got a plan. You've got a job lined up. That's what I mean by having a plan. Don't just, if you're gonna, if you go to London, have something lined up in your mind, just some opportunities. Let me see. Do you cook immigrant food?
It's a very strange way to phrase that question.
Yes, I do cook immigrant food. I cook food specifically that's got off the boat this morning, motherfucker.
That's how fresh it is.
Yeah. Like the cow is still mooing when they bring it here. That's how fresh my immigrant food is.
Yeah, when I get fish, like that fish is still in a tank and I kill it with my bare hands when I fish it out.
Yeah, because obviously Singaporean people, they fish. Everybody knows.
I actually make a lot of different kinds of food. I make like Chinese food, Malay food, Indian food. Those are the
all
dominant.
Kinds of different Asian food. Okay.
Yeah, I make all kinds of different Asian food. Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai. Like it's not that hard to make. Yeah.
What about burgers, Laura? Do you make burgers and fries?
Actually, I do. I make patties. I make like the burger patties, and actually it's pretty good. I make all kinds of food.
Why is no one marrying this woman?
I know. Like, have you you've seen like the my Instagram stories of all the food that I cook, right? And I cook for just one person.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss all the food I didn't try that while you were here. I think that's the one thing I'm gonna miss most about you, because the voice notes I can still get from London, you know.
One food that I don't really cook though is Singaporean food. Even though I am from Singapore, like we do have like a specific more local cuisine, but the problem.
Why do you hate your parents?
No, I just don't really make Singaporean food because it is actually very, very hard to make. Like some of the stuff, it's like you have to get like for example something called prawn mee or hae mee. It's just prawn noodles soup. It like I have to get like 1 kg of prawn heads and simmer that for like hours to get 3 servings. And I don't even know where I can get 1 kg of just prawn heads, and I don't have the time to simmer things for that long. And that's just one dish. The other dishes are also quite hard. Sometimes it's hard to get the specific, like, correct noodles in the UK. Sometimes it's hard to get, like, chicken broth. I don't know why, but it's really hard to get just plain chicken broth in the UK, because the chicken broth here, it's usually, like, seasoned with your disgusting white people seasoning, like rosemary, parsley. Like, I just want plain chicken broth. Okay, not infected with your... Ugh.
If you come to Eastern Europe, we got plain chicken broth. We do.
Really?
Yeah, we just make chicken soup and put some veggies in it.
Oh, okay. I mean, if I don't want to use the, white people chicken broth, I have to, like, make it myself, and I'm just too lazy to simmer something for 6 hours.
I was about to say, the way you describe Singaporean food is like, do these women have a life?
Oh, no. We don't, like, for local Singaporean food, people don't really make it at home because food is quite affordable. So you can go to the hawker center and you can just buy prawn noodles for like £3, £2, and that's a whole meal.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's £2 for a whole meal.
Yeah.
Decent.
And it's a sit-down meal.
As opposed to all the stand-up meals.
Yeah, a takeaway.
All right, okay.
Next question, Sylas.
All right, okay. Are you going to go back to Singapore when you're popular or as a man? I don't know. So some of these questions, I don't know who wrote them and what.
Is it for Sylas or for me?
I mean, to go back to Singapore means you must have been there before. I've never been to Singapore, so you can't go back.
There's no point in me getting famous and then going back to Singapore, because I don't think that Singapore would ever recognize me. I don't think that Singaporeans will ever
Well, you say ever.
see me.
Countries do change. And I feel like, give yourself, have a little bit of hope. I'm saying that as someone who's gone back to Romania, over the past 10 years, and it has changed,
The most frustrating thing about Singaporeans is that they don't really recognize any countryman as talented unless they make it overseas.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and back home in Singapore, like a lot of Singaporeans, they'll be like, if they see another Singaporean who has made it big overseas, they'll be like, are they famous? I've never heard of them. And it's kind of like, that's because you don't pay attention to the industry. If you ask any Singaporeans, like, oh, do you know... If any Singaporean comedians get famous, sometimes you'll see Singaporeans be like, oh, I've never heard of this person. I've only heard of Kumar. Kumar is one of the most famous comedians in Singapore. But the thing is that some of these Singaporeans, they only know Kumar. Because they don't really care about the comedy scene. They don't really know that many people.
See, that's interesting. As someone who's in the industry.
There's not any commentary on, like, Kumar. I think he's great.
Well, but there's something to be said if you're a content creator, especially in like the first 5 years, let's say, if you're not recognizable. Like, very few people want to be the first to be a fan, let's say, or the first to follow you. And that's why I feel like it's exponential. The more you do it, the more people start seeing like there's other people already, in the queue, then they will join the queue.
I don't really want to be famous in Singapore either. Because, like, Singaporeans can also be very mean about women, famous women, and their appearances. Like when, Jocelyn Chia, that incident. I
don't know the incidents. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, so that was a Singaporean-American comedian who made a joke about Malaysia Airlines. I'm not supporting that joke, but a lot of Singaporeans and Malaysians were picking over her appearance, saying that her face was so, all that kind of stuff. The thing is that that's very common behavior for Singaporeans. So, I mean, like, yeah, I would be very terrified to be famous back home, because, like, you'll see Singaporean men just being like, she's not even that hot. I'm like, I never said that I was. It's not something that I want to go back to.
That's why I keep saying to you that you should probably consider getting therapy before you get famous. Deal with your problems before they get to that level.
I don't really see myself getting famous.
Well, you're doing very well. Keep it up.
Next question, Sylas.
All right, okay. What do you like about each other as comedy husband and wife? The food. The food is great. And the voice notes. Love the voice notes.
I was gonna say something a lot more touching, but then after Sylas said that, it's like,
I wanted to start with some bullshit. But go on, you say it. You say it. Go on, darling.
I like how supportive Sylas is, and like how whenever I'm down, he'll be like, "No, Laura, you have to rephrase." Okay, he doesn't really say it in this exact way, but when I'm down, he'll be like, "Laura, remember that this is only temporary, and like, you know, you're gonna like look back at this in 5 years' time and laugh at it, laugh at how silly this all was, okay? Just because you feel like a failure at 28, I mean, why do you feel like a failure at 28? Firstly, you have the rest of your life to fail."
Yeah, that's kind of. I feel like a lot of my like it's quite interesting because trying to be supportive of you as a person. No, it's just in general because like. Some of the things I've been lucky enough that I've learned early on in my life because of the mental health topics and my life history, which I've told you about with my mom.
It's very depressing.
It's not that depressing actually, but there's been some, you know, knocks and twists early on in my life, and so I've learned a lot about mental health early on. So for me, a lot of this is like, well, duh. So when I see people, not just yourself, but just people in general, come at me with like a problem, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, it's so obvious. Like, take a step back, chill the fuck out. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. So it's almost like it becomes this, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're thinking. Just don't do it. Just fucking deal with your thoughts.
Sylas's main advice to me is go to therapy.
A lot of it has been just me
Yeah.
going like, no, just be like, trying to convince someone to, you know, deal with their issues before the issues get worse or have bigger impact.
I go to therapy. I went one time and then I had 3 breakthroughs within 50 minutes. I crushed therapy. So I didn't go for any more sessions.
So imagine if you went 10 more times and you had 30 breakthroughs.
I'll be a
Imagine
therapy
a high
god.
score. You would have this high score of therapy. I feel like that's what you need.
I would be hyper sentient and I would be God.
You would be so self-aware and centered. You'd be more centered than anyone who's ever centered themselves. You'd be like at the core of this planet. Imagine you went into a therapist. Okay, so FYI, this might be a red flag. If you go into your therapist and in the office there is a leaderboard and a scoreboard of which patient is doing best and you had the most breakthroughs,
I would be there.
you're not going to the right therapist.
That seems fair to do. I'll be like, you better give me the damn stickers for my 3 breakthroughs.
Bro, like that's the other thing, now that we talk about it, but the amount of dumb mental health content on social media is fucking ridiculous. Like there's TikTok psychologists and therapists explaining, you know, all kinds of behavior, why you're doing it and what it means. And I'm like, fucking stop.
You mean that you mean my inability to accept failure is not because I'm a Virgo?
No. No, it's not. And I say that with a lot of respect. I know a lot of people believe in this, so, you know, it's not a personal attack aimed at you, but the fucking horoscope shit needs to go. Like,
I don't believe in horoscopes. I don't know how people like memorize horoscopes. I mean, if you ask me, if I gave you, you know how some people, you can tell them, oh, I was born on 27 July. And they'll be like, oh my God, you're a Capricorn. I'm like, I don't even remember. When is Capricorn? Is July Cancer? I don't know.
No,
How do people remember that?
I'm a Leo. I know that much.
Yeah. I don't know how people also memorize like the character traits and stuff of the different.
Like, you're not in a video game. It's not like you're born and this is your star sign. So these are your attributes, and you got +1 in charisma because you were born in the summer. Like, what the fuck?
Something about Mercury retrograde rising.
my favorite. This was a meme, but something like Mercury's in the microwave again. I was like, mwah. And again, I say this with a lot of respect. I know people believe in this stuff, and I know that people, you know, some people genuinely live their lives by it. But like, bro, just be honest. Do you really think that fucking Saturn, the way Saturn spins around, that's the reason you can't talk to your dad?
The planets don't care about you.
I don't care about you, okay? Yeah. But yeah, I've seen, I remember screenshotting this woman, something TikTok therapist or something along those lines, and just explaining the most basic things about a relationship. Like, oh, if, the new thing is about boundaries. Obviously, Jonah Hill got in trouble because, you know, he told his then girlfriend that he doesn't like her, you know.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it. When Jonah Hill told his ex-girlfriend who was a surfer.
Yeah.
I can't remember Jordan Hill. I can't remember her
name.
Jonah. No, I mean the girl's name.
I don't know her name.
I can't remember her name, but anyways, she was a surfer, she surfed as professionally, and then he told her that he was not comfortable with her in a bikini surfing with other men and a lot of random things, a lot of stuff that he wasn't comfortable with, and then he said that those were my boundaries. But honestly, those weren't really boundaries. Those were just and he said that you can leave if you don't want to adhere to my boundaries or whatever. But I mean, it was very unreasonable, his boundaries. I mean, she professionally surfs, and she has to wear a bikini, and she surfs with other men because she's a professional surfer.
Yeah, but I'm not as mad as Jonah here. Can your boundaries be unreasonable? Yes. Is it your fucking problem? Yes. Yeah. If somebody else is willing to accept those boundaries and run with it, sure. As long as they're not being forced. You're not doing any weird nefarious shit. You're not trying to gaslight them into anything. If that's you, up front you tell them, these are my cards, this is how I see the world. Cool. Good for you. I don't agree with you. I think it's a bit dumb. But, that's my problem.
Also, people were saying that he was misusing therapy language because that's not... These rules that he was trying to set, they weren't really boundaries.
I mean,
really considered
but are they though? I mean, you can have boundaries for a relationship. You say, okay, if I'm in a
relationship... I don't know what boundaries means anymore, honestly.
Yeah, again, misusing fucking therapy speech. This shit has been in the public sphere for so long that none of it means anything at this point. What is gaslighting? What is narcissistic? What is bipolar? I mean, I've used it today. I randomly was diagnosed you being bipolar because you sent me some hilarious drunk texts. We all use this shit. It doesn't mean anything at this point. There was a funny thought in there somewhere, but it's just, I get really annoyed when people just assume therapy, I don't know, fucking therapist status on social media. Shut the fuck up.
Next question.
Do you ever regret working in comedy?
Yes. Oh my God, this is so thick. I can see why you chose Claude.
I often surprise people, Laura. What can I say? Never let them see your next move coming.
Do I regret working in comedy? No, not really, actually. I do regret that I am not talented enough. I do regret that I sometimes don't work as hard as I could have, and I am a little bit sad that my trajectory, my comedy journey trajectory is not as far as I planned. Yeah. Sylas, this is the part where you say, Laura, stop!
No, you're absolutely correct with everything you said. But
should be having my own Netflix special by now. I mean, I'm only 2 years in. I'm not at the Apollo. What the?
I'm not regretting it at all. I did learn that I might have had some unrealistic expectations, which is fair. I think, to be honest, it's been fucking great, and I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm loving it. And whatever comes. I've decided I'm gonna stick with this with the long run because I suck at everything else apparently.
He's an actor or something.
That's not true. That sounded a bit depressing. No, I'm fucking loving it, man. It's beautiful. And those car rides with the homies, the bros and the sisters and everybody in between are the best.
I'm very glad that I started performing comedy in Glasgow. Because I think that if I did start performing in Singapore, but I stopped for quite some time. Yeah. It doesn't really count because I was only performing for a few months back home. So I started in Glasgow, and I don't regret starting in Glasgow because I think that I probably had a lot more opportunities here, more so than if I had started in London or anywhere else because, I've been performing in Glasgow for about 2 years, and I perform in Edinburgh too. And within 2 years, I've got the special mention for the Glasgow International Comedy Festival
for the Billy
Spirit
Connolly
of Glasgow Award. Yeah, I got a special mention for that. And then I also got into Scottish TV. in the commercial for What's on Scotland. You can see my comedy there. I've been asked to insult a man for about £200 for 10 minutes.
You've also been asked for blowjobs, but
Also for £200. So now I have £400.
so where the market is putting you already.
Yeah,
So you
I'm
can
high up there.
you got what you need is leverage, so you can start charging £1,000 for blowjobs and £1,500 for the jokes. That's what we're aiming at.
So I think I've had a lot of opportunities in Glasgow. Would not have gone as far, would not have made it this far if I had started anywhere else. So I don't regret starting here.
Good. I'm not gonna lie. I was worried there for a second. It kind of in the beginning, it kind of sounded like we're like reading a hostage letter. Like, yeah, comedy's been great. They're treating us well. A lot of career going in places. Amazing. Thank you.
I am healthy, well.
I eat my 2.5 meals a day between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Life is good. What are some of the difficulties working as immigrants in comedy?
I guess one of the biggest things for me, again, I don't consider myself an immigrant, but let's say foreigner, one of the biggest things for me is always having to reconsider if the opportunities that are given to me were given to me because of my talent or because I'm foreign. Because sometimes I've been invited for gigs and they seem quite high profile. They seem quite great. They're like high paying, or maybe they're alongside like a very fantastic lineup. Or sometimes I get shortlisted for this or whatever, or like I'm in that commercial for STV. Sometimes these opportunities, they come to me. And then I think to myself, wait, did I only get this because I'm foreign? Because I'm, Asian and a woman?
I don't think that's only. The only has to go. You're hilarious.
Oh, thank you. But I mean, like, sometimes it's these thoughts. 'Cause I know that some female comedians, they also think about this, when they see an all-male lineup and then they're the only woman there, and then they're like, wait, is it because I'm a woman and I'm just here to fulfill the diversity quota? For me, it's also because I'm Asian. I've seen like all male lineups and I'm like, wow, they picked me because I hit two birds with one stone. And like if I came out as queer, well, you're all fucked. All the spots would be mine.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting when the industry is vocally and sort of visually trying to be diverse. Like they want to... It's a weird thing when they go, look at them, they're so diverse. Can you see the diversity? It's like, bro, you are displaying these people very much like a trophy. It does feel like it's it's kind of a mind fuck that.
I'm not saying that bookers are like that. I'm not saying that they are booking me to fulfill diversity quota. I think to some extent, I mean, at first, a lot of people, when they gave me spots for open mics and stuff, then yes, I think a little bit of that came from the fact that I was a woman and also Asian. But then people don't pay you.
Like if people are getting turned, if people were hating your set and did not enjoy your content, then at some point the booker would be like, fuck this. I love her. She's Asian and a woman and everything. But God damn it, people are not coming to these gigs.
People won't. If a booker is gonna pay you, it's not because you're Asian. They're gonna pay you because you're talented. Okay,
Yeah.
Being Asian, being a woman, only gets you the open mic spot. You get it? Being paid, it's a different game.
Yeah, I agree. I think long term it wouldn't work. So again, what you said, like, does it play a part right now because the industry is so much so trying to basically compensate for fucking decades of hiring random white guys to play Asian dudes in movies. Does it play a part? Yeah, but I think, as you said, like long term, it wouldn't make sense because people would be just leaving. And the fact that you've got your fans, you got people coming up to you, that are willing to come again, see your show, see one of your own shows, and
I can't believe you think I have fans.
Yeah, you do have fans. You've been recognized on the streets of Glasgow.
That doesn't mean that I have fans. They're just people who are like, wait, you're the Asian chick who sells her underwear online. That's not really a fan.
Well, it's in the name, OnlyFans. Right. So yeah, this is where I come in with no. You should not question that to that degree.
Oh, thank you, Sylas.
Yeah. But it's interesting that, doing this vocally we're so diverse starts making people doubt their own abilities.
Yeah.
That is a interesting side effect. You want to read the next one? Should I read the next one?
I'll read the next one.
All right, you go. Oh, I forgot to say something before you read that one.
Okay.
I find that comedy is a lot more open to immigrants than I think acting is necessarily. And it's a different job description. Obviously, you got to look the part and you got to sound the part, which I get. But comedy does not care. Comedy is like, as long as you're funny and we don't care about your accent and we don't care where you're from, as long as you can communicate well enough that people can understand and laugh at your jokes, you're in.
I think that comedy has been very open to immigrants or foreigners. Yeah, I think so. Because it just is. I don't know how to explain it. I remember before I even got here, when I was performing comedy in Singapore, I had this one friend who was a British white comedian. And then he told me, like, Laura, I think that, if you come to the UK and then you perform here, you would be a really fresh voice. And I think that coming as an immigrant and then being chosen, given opportunities, given spots, I think that it's been because I am kind of a fresh voice.
Yeah.
Just sharing new experiences, because I think that even audiences get tired of hearing the same old jokes about Glasgow.
Yeah, I mean...
People make Glasgow.
Hey, I got people make Glasgow joke.
Everybody has a people make Glasgow joke. Everyone here does. But I mean, like, they don't want to hear the same old experiences. They're kind of like, oh, I want to hear something new. What's it like? I think, yeah, I also give... no,
if you're true to yourself and funny and raw,
yeah,
and also you have this benefit of like something different, then that's gonna help.
Yeah, that helps. Sometimes that's what comedy clubs, comedy bookers are looking for. Something different. It's not about your ethnic group. It's not about your gender. But I mean, like, those things help your comedy be different.
Yeah, man, it's nice little complements the rest of the lineup.
Yeah, that's why I always tell my friends, my white male friends who are like struggling to get gigs, like, have you tried being an Asian woman?
I haven't. I'm gonna have to say I have not tried being an Asian woman. I'm killing it being a Romanian dude, so we can go to the next question because I realized that was something I wanted to mention
Laura, are you married or dating? Women from Southeast Asia make great wife and companion. Or maybe that's just Thailand. Anywho, can you cook? It's only a question. I will help in the kitchen.
Okay.
Lots of things to unpack here.
I'll let you. I'm gonna let you finish.
I am not married. I am seeing someone. I hate the idea that when people think that, oh yeah, women from Southeast Asia make great wife, great companion because they're so docile, so attentive, so
not Laura.
traditional.
Not Laura.
No. Attentive, and like they're super sweet and like clean and quiet, and oh god, it's just disgusting. And please do not look at me or any Southeast Asian woman or any Asian woman and think they will make a good wife simply because of these stereotypes you have of them in your head. Ugh.
Do you reckon that some of your content is just to make sure that people understand that you're not that stereotype?
No, I don't. Well, I mean, like, if you come and watch my show, you will see the kind of content that I talk about, and you will see that not all Southeast Asian women are like that. Okay. And also, if you say something like that to a Southeast Asian woman, they might beat you with their slipper.
I mean, Laura will straight up stab you, I think.
I spent too long in Glasgow.
She's been assimilating to the local culture.
In my first 2 weeks in Glasgow, I carried around a knife because I thought that everybody in Glasgow carried around a knife.
A legal knife?
It was legal. It was a legal knife. I didn't know
that she was going to use an illegal stabbing in self-defense. That's that.
That's
By that, I
it.
mean, so when I read this question, hang on. So because I saw you sent me the questions that we're gonna go through. Oof. I mean, it just read like a whole problem. Like you read the whole question, you're like, okay, it's just getting worse by the sentence, isn't it? But I love that at the end they put up, I will help in the kitchen. You know, whoever you are, shout out to you. It's like midway through they realize that they're going too far and they're like, I will help you. Also, here comes my bit. Sylas, are you part of the Romanian mafia? Clearly, bro. I mean, can you not tell? Can you not tell? I'm wearing the uniform of the Romanian mafia, son. Yeah. The best question I've ever had about being Romanian was, where you from? Romania. And this guy looks me up and down and just says, aren't you too white to be from Romania? And that was the first time I realized I'm white, and two, I can be too white or not white enough. I've got a whole bit about this that I'm working on, but it was just like such a random thing to ask someone. Like, are you too white to be from Romania? And the guy's a sweetheart, so I knew where he was coming from and what he meant by it. But I was just like, huh, they really don't know Romania at all, do they? But at least I'm not in the kitchen cooking, so hey, I got that going for me. Next question?
Yeah. Later on, when are you doing good? Are you gonna do like the edits, like
Not much.
Okay.
What do you hate about being an immigrant in Scotland?
I hate the visa situation. I think with Rishi Sunak's recent announcement that he would be increasing the cost of a visa and the cost of immigrants, because they have to pay a fee to use the NHS. Then he's increasing that too, and he's increasing all that so that the salaries for NHS staff can increase. He's doing everything he can, but taxing the rich. Visa costs are crazy, and it deters a lot of people from immigrating to the UK, and it puts a lot of strain on people like me. That's it. I hate it, and I feel like Rishi Sunak's recent announcement is going to herald changes.
You reckon?
I think that is one of my biggest worries, that in 2 years, my visa will just expire. I'm not going to get a new one.
Yeah, we talked
Very
about
strong
this.
chance of that.
This is one of the messages. This is one of those conversations we had where I was like, Laura, it's 2 years from now. Take a step back. This is temporary. Things are going to change. In that time, 3 members of parliament will be outed as pedos. They will get fired. Laws
Is
don't
someone
stay the
going to
same.
out Rishi?
We're not making that assumption yet because I'm not getting sued.
Just waiting for a scandal.
We're just generally waiting for a scandal, like any scandal.
Yeah, hurry up, please.
This is, you got to do it for the immigrants. If you have any controversial topics with any members of parliament, please come forward now. Yeah. But no, just, you do you. I don't hate being an immigrant in Glasgow. I've been loving Glasgow. It's been great. Good fun. Got used to the food, some of it. And since they opened the Romanian shop, I can cook my own shit. So yes. But yeah, sorry about your visa situation. We will be engaged in a loving marriage if it comes to that. Right, last question. Did you come to Britain to escape the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, look at it. Like, if you know Laura's story about selling the underwear online, you know clearly that she came because, the Jehovah's Witnesses were getting a bit much in Singapore. But that's kind of interesting because no, I did not leave because of the Jehovah's Witnesses. But it helped that I had distance. I talked about this, and there's going to be an episode dropping on this soon. But just having that distance between my old life and just myself helped a lot. Just not having to bump into and explain myself to the same people who have a completely different way of life, which, I'm not a part of. I have my problems with it, but I respect it. And long story short, I need to go soon because I need to tell everybody about Jesus in about 5 minutes. But yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, Laura, before we go?
No, I have to go back to work. I have a day job, Sylas. It's not...
Sylas has a day job, just not today.
It's a Monday, guys.
Thank you so much for your time. Okay, bye.
Bye.